The next chapter is called Pressure. Friday. Dear first grade journal, I keep thinking about May's present. I wonder what will happen when she sees the coal. I wonder what her face will look like. I wonder if she'll learn a lesson. I wonder if Santa will be proud of me. That is all the things I'm wondering. Your friend, Junie B., first grader. Just then, I felt a poke. It was May. Come on, Frank. Are you getting excited, Junie Jones? I'm getting excited, she said. Lenny heard her. Me too, he said. I'm getting excited too. Herb and Jose both nodded their heads. Me too, they said together. May squirmed and bounced around in her seat. She was acting like a regular kid. Having a secret Santa makes you feel like you have a best friend, she said. Right, Lenny, huh? It makes you feel like you have a best friend, doesn't it? Lenny looked funny at her. But I do have a best friend, May, he said. My best friend is Jose. Jose smiled. Back at you, Len, he said. Herb pointed at me. And my best friend is Junie B., he said. I poked him very fun. And my bestest friend is Y-O-U, Herbert. Just then, May stopped bouncing and squirming, and her face lost all its happy. Oh, she said real soft. Right. Her shoulders slumped a little bit. Well, anyway, that's what it makes me feel like, she said. Having a secret Santa makes me feel like I have a best friend, too. After that, all of us sat there very still. The mood did not feel happy anymore. Very slow, Lenny and Jose turned back around in their chairs. Me and Herb turned around, too. We didn't talk again. We just sat there and waited for Mr. Scary to call our names. Finally, he called Jose, and then Lenny. May started to get excited again. I heard her whispering to herself, It's almost my turn, it's almost my turn. Just then, Lenny came back from the gift table, and May sprang right up. Me, it's time for me, she hollered. Then she grabbed her gift bag and then ran right back to Mr. Scary. Pretty soon it would be my turn, too. I picked up my gift shop bag and I peeked at the coal. My stomach felt a little bit sickish at the sight of it. I wonder if Santa's stomach feels sickish before he gives children coal. May skipped back to her chair and she started singing Frosty the Snowman. I covered my ears. I tried not to hear. She was so happy. Finally, Mr. Scary called my name. Junie B., he said. My heart pounded really hard. I picked up my gift bag and walked to the back table. Mr. Scary winked at me. Do you need any help, he asked. I shook my head real fast. Nope, I said, no help, no thank you, no help, Mr. Scary. I can do this all by myself. My hands felt sweatish and clammish. I wiped them on my skirt. Then I waited very patient for my teacher to walk away. After he was gone, I picked up May's gift sack and I held it in my hand. It was the beautifulest sack on the table. It was covered with shiny gold stars and sparkly red glitter, plus also there were beautiful green bows all over the sides. I did a gulp. I wondered how it would look with the black coal inside it. I wondered if May would be sad when she saw it. I did another gulp. I wondered if she would stop singing Frosty. Just then I heard my name again. Junie B., said Mr. Scary. Are you sure you don't need any help back there? Then, oh no. Before I could even answer, I heard his feet. He was coming back to help me. I felt pressure in my head. There was no time left, and so boom, I did it. I grabbed May's present out of my gift bag, and I dropped it right into her sack. Then I hurried back to my desk, speedy fast, and I plopped down in my seat. I took some deep breaths. It was over. And that was that. The end. Chapter 11, May's Big Surprise. Room 1 went to lunch. I did not eat my sandwich. Also, I did not eat my carrot sticks. Because how can I even swallow stuff when my stomach feels so sickish? I kept thinking about what I did. Only it didn't even matter anymore, because now it was too late. After we got back from lunch, Mr. Scary put on a Santa hat and he passed out cake and cookies and punch. Plus also, he gave everyone a candy cane. After that, he went back to our gift sacks and he folded their tops shut. Okay, everyone. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Ready for me to deliver the secret Santa gifts, he said. Ready, hollered room 1. Mr. Scary smiled. When I give you your gift sack, please keep it on your desk, he said. Then when everyone has their sack, we will open them all together. May jumped up and clapped. This is a deal, mister, she said very silly. Then she sat back down and she sang Frosty some more. And all of room 1 started singing with her. Except for me, because I still did not feel cheery about what I did. And there was nothing I could even do about it. Pretty soon, Mr. Scary handed May her sack. She stood up and skipped around her desk again. She was still belting out Frosty. I drummed my fingers on my desk. Okay, now her joy is actually getting on my nerves, I said to just myself. Finally, Mr. Scary gave me my gift sack. Thank you, I said. Only I didn't actually feel that happy, because May's gift kept staying on my mind. As soon as all the gift sacks were passed out, Mr. Scary walked back to the front of the room. He beamed really big. Okay, everyone, when I count to 3, we'll open our gifts. Ready? He said. Ready, we shouted. 1, 2, 3. Then whoosh, all of the children opened their gifts at once, except not me, again, and not May. Instead, she just stared into her sack, and she sat there real frozen. Her face had shock on it. Lenny turned around to see what she got, but May didn't move. What did you get, May? He asked. What's wrong? Huh? What's wrong? May did not answer. Then Jose turned around too, and so did Herb and Sheldon and Shirley. What's wrong, May? They said. Is something wrong with May? May kept staying frozen. Finally, Mr. Scary came back to her desk, and he bent down next to her. May, is there a problem? He asked real quiet. May did a big swallow. Her eyes had a little bit of tears in them, I think. Then very slow, she handed him the gift, and he looked inside. His mouth dropped open at that sight. Oh, he said. Oh, my. He gave it back. May looked up at him. I can't believe anybody would do this, she said real soft. Do what, May? Asked Sheldon. May breathed a deep breath when she reached into her bag and she pulled out her gift. Everybody gasped real loud. They could not believe their eyeballs, I tell you. They waited to get their breath back. Then everybody started shouting all at once. The Squeeze-a-Burp! The Squeeze-a-Burp! Someone got May the Squeeze-a-Burp! That thing costs a fortune, called Shirley. Squeeze it, yelled Sheldon. Yeah, squeeze it, yelled the children. May started to grin. Then she stood up kind of slow, and she gave that thing a squeeze. And it burped beautifully. Room 1 laughed their heads off. Do it again, do it again, do it again, they shouted. And so May burped again, and Room 1 laughed again. And they kept going on and on like that. Finally, May sat down for a second, and she fanned herself with her hand. I think I'm being popular, she said, very stunned. Look at Junie B's face. Then she quick stood up again, and she skipped around the room, and she kept on squeezing her burp. It felt happy to watch her, sort of. Also, it felt hard, because I really, really wanted that toy. That's what I wanted it so bad. Only it didn't even belong to me now, and it never, ever would. My gift sack was still sitting on my desk. I put it on my lap and looked inside. Crayons, I said, very happy. my Secret Santa brought me brand new crayons. Who even knew that I needed these things? All of room 1 turned around at once. Everyone, they said. I opened my box and I breathed in their new crayon smell. Then I lined them up on my desk and I smiled real happy. Because Greenie was not a stubby and my red's head was perfectly pointy. I smiled even bigger. Then I drank some punch and ate a cookie. My stomach felt better now. Pretty soon, May skipped back to her desk and she fanned herself again. Whew, being popular really gets you tired, she said. Right, Junie Jones, right? Right, I said kind of quiet. After that, May sat down and both of us ate our cake and we licked our candy canes. It was very peaceful of us. We were having goodwill, I believe. After May finished, she wiped off her mouth with her napkin. Well, I'd better get back to my skipping now, she said. I have a lot more burping to do before the bell rings. She jumped up from her chair, but instead of skipping away, she just stood there with a squeeze-a-burp, and she smiled at me. Then all of a sudden, she reached across the desk and she put it on my desk. Want to try it, Junie Jones, she said. Want to do a burp? I raised my eyebrows real shocked. Really, May? No kidding? You would really let me do that? Then, before she could change her mind, I quick picked it up and I squeezed that thing as loud as I could. And wowie, wow, it was the biggest burp of the day. May clapped and clapped. Ha! That was a good one, Junie B, she said. You did good. The words floated inside my head. I smiled. I did good. After that, May picked up her toy and she started to skip away. Then, whoa, hold the phone. It hit me like a brick. I jumped up and I grabbed May's arm. Wait a second, May. Did you just say my B? I asked. Because I really thought you just said my B just now. I'm almost positive you did, in fact. May tapped her chin. Really? She said. I said your B? That's funny. Then she did a little smile and she skipped away. I sat there for a second. Then my whole face got happy. Only I don't even know why, because I still really wanted that squeeze-a-burp, I tell you. And so how come I feel so good inside? Maybe when I got home from school, Philip Johnny Bob would help me figure it out. But for right now, there was only one thing I was really hoping for. I picked up my new black crayon and I opened up my journal. Dear Santa, I really hope you were watching me just now. That's all I hope. Love, Junie B. Giver. P.S. You don't happen to have an extra squeeze-a-burp up there, do you? Peace and goodwill. Amen. That was a great story, wasn't it? And Junie B made the best choice ever. That's exactly what we teach you guys to do. She had a little empathy and she made the right choice in the end. So I hope you enjoyed that story. I'm going to get a couple more out for you and I'll put them on there so that you can have some Christmas stories this week.